Hey everybody, welcome back to the Confluence Fly Shop YouTube channel. Today we're going to tie a pattern that I get asked a lot of questions about. This is a fly that I reference a lot in our shop newsletters, particularly during our winter and early spring stillwater fly fishing reports. We're going to tie a blob. The blob is an import from the UK, very similar to flies like the booby that has become immensely popular with stillwater fishermen in North America. This is kind of a ridiculous fly, but if you can swallow your pride and you're not too embarrassed to fish such a thing, it is a fish catching machine, particularly in the winter when there's not a lot of natural food in the lakes, not a lot of insects hatching, or at times when you've got a pretty immense algae bloom, as we do on some of our lakes, like Pass Lake. You'll get Daphnia blooming. They're an aquatic organism that trout will feed heavily on, almost like a baleen whale feeds on plankton. But they often don't want to hit other things readily. They will, however, hit the blob. So in my vise I have a size 10 Daiichi 1120 hook. It's a 2x heavy scud hook, and I've already got a fluorescent pink 1/8 inch brass bead at the front of that, and then I'm tying with a Chartreuse 70 Denier thread at the moment. We're going to tie in just a little tail. Honestly, this thing works just as well without a tail, but we got to make it look at least a little bit more like a fly. So we're going to add some just pearlescent crystal flash. I've got 3 short strands tied in here. I've center tied those, and then I'm going to fold those over. And so I'll end up with a tail consisting of 6 strands of pearlescent crystal flash. And then we'll trim those relatively short on the fly. Next thing I'm going to do is use kind of the magic ingredient of the blob. This is UV jelly from F&F Fly Fishing, and this is the biscuit color. It's kind of a soft pink. And what's cool about this is it's got really densely packed fibers over a very small micro core, which allows you to really pack this material on and be able to tie on smaller hooks like this without creating a lot of bulk. So I've just stripped away some fibers from the core, and I'm going to go ahead and build up some thread just to keep that bead from wanting to slide back. And then we'll position our thread in the middle of the hook, and I'm just going to take this and wind it on here. Really close wraps. I want to get this on here very, very dense. So I'm pulling tight on the material, but I'm also sweeping all the fibers rearward as I wrap. Do one more wrap. And then with that locked into place, we can go ahead and trim that out of there. And that's it for our first color. Our second color is going to be kind of a chartreuse color. This one I believe is marketed as Hulk, kind of like the Incredible Hulk. And you can really tie these in any color scheme your heart desires. They all work at some point or another, but this particular one has been my go-to much of the time. I've caught a lot of fish on this. And you can fish this in a number of different ways. You can certainly cast this and strip it back to you. That draws some very aggressive strikes from trout. My hands down favorite way to fish this fly is just hanging it under an indicator. And that's why I like to put a little bead on it as well, just to give it some weight to sink. This thing under an indicator is absolutely deadly. And I'll often fish it in conjunction with another fly. In the winter, that other fly is often some sort of a bloodworm or chironomid larva pattern below it. And then we're going to wrap this the same way we did the biscuit color. Just really densely packing that in there and sweeping the fibers back. The nice thing is too, this has a relatively strong core, so I have yet to actually break it. Get 3 wraps in there to lock that in place. And then we can go ahead and trim that other color out of there. Now we're just going to build up kind of a neat little head to finish that off. And just so I don't have to mess with super glue or anything in the fibers, I'm just going to brush my thread with a little bit of Zap-A-Gap. We'll take a few more wraps and then we can whip finish. And sacrilegious as this may be, we often think of this as the power bait of flies. Very effective pattern, one worth always having a few in your box, particularly for those days where nothing else seems to work. That is a blob. Be sure to pick up the materials for this and many other flies at the Confluence Fly Shop in Bellingham, Washington. As always, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and we will see you in the shop or on the water. Thanks for watching.